Welcome back. Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And the knife I have in front of you today is a budget blade by Kershaw called the Concierge. Sounds fancy, doesn't it? This knife comes in right around $35, and it is a collaboration with custom knife maker Dmitry Sinkovich, who's just totally been hot right now in the knife community. He's been doing a lot of collaborations. He's done several with ZT and his 0450. That's one that I had personally. He's done the bigger version of that. He's also done the Persian, and he's collaborated with other companies as well for good reason. He has very distinct design influence, and there's no doubt about it that this is one of his designs. And he also, with this knife, he came up with a little bit of innovation. I think it's pretty cool. I like some aspects of it and some things I don't like about it, and that is the inset pocket clip. Now, when I first saw it, I was like, it looks kind of funny. I thought they had some tools or something hidden there. I didn't really understand, but at Blade Show, I talked to him about it, and they say that he did that so you didn't have any hot spots created by the pocket clip. Now, I will tell you, look, there you go. So pretty much it's inset underneath the scales. And I will say ergonomics are excellent on this knife. You know, these are my first impressions, but it very, very comfortable. You do not feel that pocket clip whatsoever in any grip. just knocked it out of the park there. And, you know, being that you don't have any crazy lines, no crazy swoops right here, and you got a subtle little hook right there that's not really abrupt. It's a very comfortable knife. So let's kind of get into it. Let's see, give y'all some quick specs on this guy. It's a full-size EDC knife. You have a total length of about 7.5 inches with about a little over 3 1/4 inch blade. You got a handle of 4 1/4 inches, a grip area of 3 1/8 inches, and let's see, let's get the calipers out. Let's see if they want to play nice with me. Decently thin blade stock at 0.105. So like I said, nice and decently thin. You have a nice hollow grind, about 3/4 up the way of the blade. I like that nice wedge you got there. Let's see, the handle thickness looks like it's about average. Yeah, a little bit above average at 0.54, so a little bit over 1/2 inch. And see how much real estate it's going to take up in the pocket. Not including the flipper tab, it's at 1.04, so not bad at all. It stays nice and slim, and it tends to stay out of the way in the pocket. The way the knife cants this way, sitting in the pocket, that flipper tab kind of cants in that direction, so whenever you put your hands down there, you completely miss it. Not to mention it's not overly absurd flipper tab. So let's get into this blade. You got a nice, attractive, pretty much all belly blade. I like that a lot. Like I said, you got this nice top swedge up here to give you a nice, precise point for piercing. You have some flats up here for all you fixed angle sharpeners, including myself. You got a titanium nitride coating on the blade. You know, it's common with your budget line knives. The blade steel's, you know, nothing to cheer about. It's HCR 13 MOV, but, you know, if they get enough right with the design and the functionality, I'm okay with that, you know, and the price point. At $35, and being it's a custom knife collaboration, like I said, if it checks enough boxes, then it's a win for me. I'm not a steel snob. You know, HCR can handle pretty much all my EDC tasks on a day-to-day basis, and probably 90% of y'all's too. Yeah, of course, it is nice having your super steels, and I'm I'm definitely guilty of having lots of super steels that I like a lot. But let's get into this knife some more. They execute the sharpening choil pretty good on this version. On mine, it's not bad. It's, you know, nothing crazy. I did handle 5 of these at my local shop, and some of them didn't look that clean. That's something I like about being able to go to my local shop. I can check out a few different models and see, you know, if something's consistently wrong or good about them. Your billboarding, you just have the Kershaw logo standard, and then, you know, they definitely put their billboard on this side. You got the model number, the blade steel, the logo, and the Sankovic design, and the little China right there. So definitely putting a lot of stuff there. Closed, you have some nice jimping on that flipper tab. It is comfortable to deploy, and I've noticed it comes out better with a push button, and you can get it out. Look, I failed to flip. You can get it out with the light switch, but I have to like really rock it back. Another really beautiful or well done job is the way they finish this G10. They took some extra steps in bringing out that grain. I love seeing that grain. You can actually feel it. It has a little bit of texture. It looks nice. It just looks classy. And you can actually see the little milling lines right there. And you get, you know, slight grip on these top edges right here where you see those lines. It is more polished here in the middle. You have pretty standard hardware. You have a T8 on the pivot, oversized pivot there. T6 here. But one thing that I found out, that this thing's a pain in the butt to take apart, because you got to take off this show scale. You got to take these 2 screws off, take off the show scale, and then you have screws underneath that. It's always a pain, but, you know, whatever. You have a nice generous sized lanyard hole right there. I like how they went with the black hardware to kind of, you know, mute them out a little bit. And I like how they matched the pivot with the blade, just a nice little touch. You have a Zytel backspacer right here that goes a little over half of the length of the blade. Let's see, so you're not going to come in contact with that edge. There you go. It's sitting far enough down there. And your tip, not going to come in contact with the tip. The blade centering is off to the right, and every one of the ones that I checked out all were off-centered, pretty much like this. Some were a little worse, but they all were off-centered. So that just says something. either my local shop got five bad samples, or that's just the way they are. If you had this knife, let me know if yours was centered. There you go. There's a good look at that inset pocket clip. Definitely a cool idea. I definitely like seeing that kind of stuff. Like I said, it does function great keeping that clip out of the palm of your hand for whenever you're really bearing down. But one thing I did notice, being that it is below the scale like that, it's not terrible getting it in the pocket, but it definitely wants to stay in the pocket. It took a little bit extra force pulling it out of the pocket, at least for me. That's something I noticed. You don't have any jimping up there, but you do lock in pretty well on this choil area, or, you know, cut out right here, and that flipper tab acts as a guard. So nicely done. Let's check the sharpness out of box. Nice and sharp. Love to see that. Hate it whenever I get a brand new knife dull, because some people can't sharpen their knives. So you got a stainless steel liner lock. They did the coating as well on that. I think that's a nice touch. One thing that I did notice, that this knife is rather hefty, and that is because of the lack of lightning holes. That's a pretty big bummer. I would have loved to see some lightning pockets in there. It would have made this knife a lot more appealing to me, just because there's so many awesome knives in that $35 price category that, you know, they got to do those little things that, you know, make it an exciting purchase. You know, besides, you know, I bought this one because of the aesthetics. I love Sinkovich's designs, and I like the finish work here. I just thought it was a beautiful looking knife, but we'll talk more about that at the end. See, did I touch on everything that I want to touch on? You do have a chamfer on that lock bar, and there's your lockup right there at around, I call that about 50%, kind of exactly where I like it. So it got full engagement underneath that lock bar, underneath that tang. You have absolutely no wiggle up and down, left to right. This is riding on bearings. It's fairly smooth. The coating is, you know, once that coating wears in, it'll get smoother over time. It'd have been nice if they would have masked that. It would have kind of sped up the process. Let's see what else. All right, let's get into a few nitpicks, and then I'll give y'all some competitive options that are out there. Let's see real quick. Let's see how heavy this guy is. 4.6 ounces. That's pretty hefty. Like I said, you don't have any lightning pockets. Let me make sure. Yeah, 4.6 ounces. And I'm going to show the first comparison knife that I show y'all is a good bit bigger. It's 3.4, and you know, they could have made this the same. All right. So some of the I don't know, gripes and complaints I have about this knife are enough to where this knife is going back to my local shop. And the thing that is making me decide to bring this one back is this one has a pretty weak detent. And let me show you. If I do there you go. Now that's, you know, that's pulling back on it, and I get that kind of weak thud. The detent is pretty weak. Now, if I push button it, I can make it come out, but I mean, that shouldn't be the case. And of the ones I've handled, the ones that had a better detent had other issues that, you know, they had really bad blade grinds, and just, this was the best out of the 5. At least I thought it was. I didn't really realize how weak that detent was, because I was purchasing a few other knives at the time that kind of overshadowed this knife. So I probably should have looked at that a little bit more. And the centering, that's another knock I have on it. It having to take this whole scale off to actually adjust, to take the knife apart, you know, it's not a big deal, but that's just something. No internal milling, that's another pretty big, you know, decision of mine. You know, it just feels heavy in hand. They could have made this thing so much better. And I mean, we all know you could have changed the blade steel. You could have done this, could have done that. I'm at least happy to see that they used the KVT bearings. I would have definitely not have bought this if it would have been a speed assist. That's just me. Also, the pocket clip being as stiff as it is, that's kind of, you know, I don't really like that. Now I could bend it out some, but like I said, I don't plan on keeping this guy. It's more than likely going to go back. And also, the chamfer they have right there on the lock bar, you know, I see this time and time again when the lock is already decently thin and they do that deep chamfer right there. Look how thin it gets. And on this one, being that it has that carbon nitride coating, I feels like I'm going to kind of slip, and it's not the most comfortable whenever I'm disengaging it. I'm trying to see what I have that is a little bit more comfortable. Like this Kershaw strobe. See, the way they did that, you got that thick lock bar. It's easy to get in there and grab it. This one, not so much. You know, you had that little lip up there. You kind of need to catch it up here at the top to make it easy. And if you catch it down here, you don't have a whole lot to grab onto. And it's just a minor complaint, but like I said, I just figured I'd talk about them. But other than that, that's, you know, if those things don't bother you, it's an awesome design. You know, you can hope for the best. You know, you can hope that your detent's better than this one. Or if you don't mind the push button, you can still make it rocket it out. And over time, it will get smoother once that coating is kind of weared in a little bit. So let me show you a few competitive options before I let you guys go. That, you know, in my eyes, I don't know, kind of beat this one out. First one is probably my favorite budget company right now at the moment. That's Kaiser's Tangram line and the Santa Fe. And the Santa Fe is about pretty close to the same size, if not the same exact size. You have better steel. You got the G10 as well on here. You don't have as nice a finishing on the G10, but you know, you have milled pockets. You have milled pockets to save weight. You got a super smooth action, and this. Well, let me see. That's on washers. Look at that. This action is super smooth. This action drops. Look, that action, and then this is on bearings. I'm not hitting that flipper tab right there. That's where it goes to right there. I mean, this thing falls shut a lot quicker, and it's on phosphor bronze washers and a little thin Teflon. So there you go. That's the first one. And this guy right here is $30. $30, great bang for your buck. Another one was one of those Amazon purchases that every now and again I just buy an Amazon knife just to see a budget Amazon knife. And that is the QSP Parrot. Another one about the same size. You got G10 on this one. You got better blade steel, full 40C. I don't think this guy, this guy isn't milled out. It's not milled out, but it's still a good bit lighter. I'm sure because it's not as thick and robust. I don't know, but it definitely feels lighter. But let's get a quick, I want to show you the difference, you know, that the lightning pockets make. There's a Concierge, 4.7 ounces. Here's your Tangram, 3.41 ounces. I mean, see what those lightning pockets do? It can make such the difference. And, you know, like I say, I got to be picky. There's so many great knives out here. Here's another great knife, or a great design from a custom maker, and that is a CRKT Caligo. This is a TJ Schwartz design. The Caligo is about $10 more. It's at $48, but you know, basic same construction. You got aluminum here though instead of the G10. This is riding on IKBS, which is, you know, basically the same exact thing because this is a caged IKBS. This is just KVT. But this one is super smooth. I mean, look at this action. The detent's dialed in really nicely on this one. I mean, they have, you know, super comfortable deep carry clip. You know, and that's another thing on this one. You don't have that deep carry clip. I mean, a good bit still disappears, but let me try to hurry because I don't want to keep you all for 24 hours here. This one resembles another Kershaw that has a lot of design resemblance, but this is no, that's why, because this is another Sienkiewicz design, and that is the Atmos. Now, Atmos for me is a win. Just because of the size and the weight on this guy, it just fits my carrying needs at the moment. But this thing's featherweight. You know, a lot of the same stuff transferring. This guy is $33. So a little bit cheaper. You have this carbon fiber inlay on there. I don't know. but a lot smoother. This detent is dialed in perfection right here. Another great budget option is the Reich P801. This guy goes for 30 bucks, $5 cheaper. If you don't mind it being a little bit heavier with the all stainless, but you get better steel, the 14C28N. Another great option. I'm going to be doing a video soon showing you my top 10 budget options so far this year. Another good option by Kershaw is the strobe. You can get the strobe now on Amazon for 21 bucks. This is a Matt Diskin design. I love Matt Diskin's stuff. They have a lot of similarities as well. This one has an excellent detent. Rockets out. Now, I will say, handle-wise, I definitely would choose this one. But as far as the aesthetics, other than that, I like both of them. And one more last one, the Kershaw Natrix. Now, the Natrix has a phenomenal detent as well. They're about the same size. Natrix might be a little bit bigger. And maybe you could say this is a little upgrade on the handles, but they're both comparable. But the Natrix comes in at $46 and had a lot more QC issues than this knife. So there you go. I just happened to keep this one. So my final thoughts, if you like the design and if you can get one in hand so you can check, make sure the detent's dialed in the way you like it, or if you get it from Blade HQ or one of them places, just leave a note in the comment section. Ask them to check the detent and the centering on there. Other than that, beautiful design. I like the innovation, if you don't mind a stiff clip in the pocket. Super, super comfortable and ergonomic. It checks tons of the boxes that, I look for in a knife, but that weaker detent and the extra heft, I'm pretty sure I'm definitely returning it. I'm either going to exchange it for another one if they have a version that's better than this one, or I will just get something else. All right, guys and girls, let me know what y'all think down below. Give me your thoughts, opinions on the Concierge, and let me know what's some of your favorite budget knives that y'all think I ought to try out. Like I said, I should be doing a top 10 video pretty soon, the next couple of days. So, hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day. Remember, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Spread it with all your friends and family and your social networks. If you like my videos in general, hit that subscribe button. While you're at it, hit that bell button because you don't want to miss the upcoming giveaway. When I hit 2,000 subscribers, it's going to be a pretty epic giveaway. All right, guys and girls, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.